to this year's amazing 1111 gateway, and an extremely potent and powerful gateway it is. I don't know if you guys have been aware, those of you who have connected in with so many of the events that we've actually done this year, that there is such a powerful synchronistic alignment between what the Mayan calendar has identified as the so-called gap days and various celestial events. It's been absolutely amazing for me to be drawn to certain days in respect of doing certain work, and then find that there is this incredible synchronicity between celestial events and these gap days. And gap, that most of you are familiar with, is galactic activation portal days. So those are days when we are in closer alignment with the cosmic energies that we are being gifted with. And lo and behold, as happens with so many of them, yesterday there was a massive solar flare with a coronal mass ejection that is actually due to hit the Earth's energy fields today, so there's likely going to be some electromagnetic disturbances as a consequence of that. But that's something else that has been amazing too, because we'll find that the sun goes through extended periods of being extremely quiet, and then right before one of our events, the day before or the day of the event, there's a massive solar flare and a coronal mass ejection. It's almost like the sun is delivering the enhanced consciousness codes. And that is one of the understandings that many people are actually gaining in respect of the sun. And it's not woo-woo stuff or fluffy stuff. It's just that our sun is actually a transformer within our solar system. Our sun delivers the consciousness, the frequencies that are being delivered from deeper within our galactic environment, and indeed even further afield within our universal environment. So we have this amazing confluence of alignments and celestial governances in respect of important and significant portal days. So today we have the 1111, we have an amazing gap day that is governed by the breath of spirit, the breath of soul, and we have the new moon in Scorpio on exactly the same day. And the new moon is about this particular new moon is particularly intense. So we are sitting in the midst of an opportunity for really deep healing, an opportunity to go deeper into our unconscious and to actually unravel and bring forward yet more of that which stands in the way or that requires our healing focus, our healing attention, our love. Basically, it's the love of our small self accessing our higher self so that we can focus that through the lens of the diamond into our small ego self and allow it to disintegrate and become the servant in service to our ego. Personality becomes in service to our higher self. And be very aware of your dreams over this time. I was saying to you guys off air just that I had the most amazing, really, really powerful dream last night. It was in fact quite terrifying to be within it, but symbolic. It was amazing. It was exceptionally powerful in respect of what it indicated to me, because it did indicate the burning away of yet another layer of that which stands in the way of me stepping into a level of recognition and visibility and success. And it was it's a really deep-seated fear that's probably karmic, past life. It has a lot to do with many different things. So that is one healing aspect I'm going to be working on today. But all of the issues and aspects that bring up fear whenever there's an opportunity for me to stand out there in my truth, in the golden essence of who I am, and then the fear kicks in. And that was revealed through the dreams. Be very aware of your dreams and the symbolism that they actually represent. I mean, why I say I was terrified, because in fact, as I was being hunted. I was being hunted in the dream, and at one stage I was lying face down in a pool of water, thinking that I was camouflaged by a whole lot of tarpaulins and canvases, and I wasn't. My back was visible, and I was actually, my back was torched by somebody with a flamethrower. Now, I mean, you can imagine that in a dream, and it really was terrifying, and yet there was absolutely no pain, and I woke up with the understanding of what it was, and it was the transformation by fire. Of literally burning away another level of whatever is carried in my history. The back represents what's behind us, what's in our history, what we've brought forward into our genetic or soul matrix for this lifetime, and that was burning away in readiness for something really big. So very, very interesting. And sometimes as well, this theme of hunting is us ourselves sort of hunting down what is in our unconscious to bring it into the light of recognition, whatever stands in the way. So yeah, learn to read your dreams symbolically. So most of you have been a part of some of many of the Diamond Light webinars before, so you will know that there's often a bit of information that I like to share with you in order to raise your awareness of the appropriateness of what we are actually dealing with and what we're working with, as well as the significance of the diamond. So this is no exception. I have some insights for you that I'd like to share with you before we actually go into the meditation or the journey and the process itself, which is going to involve the kingdom of the trees as well as our own tree. We're really talking about the tree of life in respect of our own genetics, our own karma, and we're talking about the world tree. So we're actually going to be working with trees at many different levels. So first of all, what I want to draw your attention to, 1111 or the 11s, I always say are diamond numbers. It's a diamond number. Now, one of the ways of actually looking at this, we look and we talk about the 1111 gateway, and to me, the 1111 is always an opportunity to step into the core essence of our highest being, our highest selves within and through the diamond. Now, if we look at 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, we logically, mathematically think that 1 plus 1 equals 2. And we tend to work with numbers and numerology in that respect. There is another level of understanding this, and 1 plus 1 in this equation actually equals 3. That's because the minute you have 1, 1 has nothing to interact with. It is essentially a state of beingness. That's the oneness that we seek to actually embed and embody within ourselves, is the oneness of all. But 1 has nothing that it actually interacts with. The minute you add another 1 to the equation, you actually create a dynamic, which is a third dynamic, which is the interaction between the two numbers. So you don't only have 2 1s in isolation, you have a third force which actually comes into play. So 1 plus 1, in fact, always equals 3. It's almost as if 2 is not a real number. 2 is not real within the context of our spirit and actually understanding how these numbers in the numerology actually apply to our essence selves. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you. 1 plus 1 will always give you an interaction between the two, which introduces a third force, which is the dynamic itself. So you have the 2 individual ones, and then you have the third force as a consequence of that. So the minute you have 3, you have the Trinity. You have matter, you have spirit, and you have God. You have the Holy Trinity in whichever form it actually presents or makes itself known, or that you guys can actually relate to. So you actually have a Trinity that is formed. The Trinity, as you all know, is the face or the facets of the diamond, the shapes of the diamond. So where you have 11 plus 11, so we kind of think, well, 11, 11, you add them all up, you have 4. If we look at this in respect of the equation, 11, 11 equals 6. If we understand the 3-dimensional construct of the diamond, we know that there are 6 axes within the diamond: up, down, front, back, left and right, and those are the 6 vectors or components that hold together the trinities within the diamond. And you have 2 3s in its flat 2-dimensional form. You have the 2 coming together to actually create the diamond. So to me, 1111 is always, I connect with it immediately as a gateway into the oneness, the core that runs through the center of the diamond, that binds together. That's the third force. The third force is that which binds together the opposites, both conscious and unconscious. And in numerological terms, 6 is also known as the number of service. When we bind all of those things together, we find meaning in our lives. We are able to project that outwards in respect of being in service in the world. Does that make sense to you guys? This is quite a deep level of understanding in respect of the esoteric numbers and connections that we are working with at the moment. So hopefully that actually does give you. Can hear. We'll have to see if I can play blah blah. Yes. Okay. That's great. So you've got that. Now the other thing about the 111s, and this is something else I pulled out for you. Look at all the 111s here. 111, 1111, all over. The 111 is in absolute physics terms, it is the number that is associated with the crystalline form of the diamond. Because it's the equation or the number that represents the planes of symmetry. And what this really says is that all of the vectors or planes that connect the facets within the octahedron, within the diamond, are the equal length. They're all exactly the same length. And the physics nomenclature in respect of those ratios is 111. There is actually no other geometric form or shape that exhibits that degree of symmetry, where everything, all of the planes, all of the faces, all of the internal vectors are all 111. Elaine says this is the Athena crystal geometric form. I don't know anything about that. That's an interesting comment. But yeah, so the 111 is known in physics terms as the number that represents the structure, the geometric form of the octahedron. So you guys know I do everything through the diamond. There's a reason why this actually serves and supports the anchoring of the higher wisdom and the higher knowledge through absolutely everything that we do. It really is at the core of everything. So this is a diamond day. Penny, don't worry, I'll explain it to you later. But the 1 + 1 = 3 is a really profound and deep understanding. So what do we have today in respect of the gap day? We have the white magnetic wind is what it's characterized as. It is the solar overtone 1. Again, so we've got this beginning. There are 3 manifestations of this white magnetic wind today. So it really is a profound day to connect and work with the energy of spirit, the communication of spirit, allowing it to flow through in divine inspiration. It doubles our own power. So our own power to heal, our own power to connect. What is also interesting is that the classification of this day is 222, which represents almost a higher octave of the 111. And it represents our ability to open, to be in alignment, to receive grace, to be in receipt of grace. 22, in respect of our genetic structure, is the number that's associated with grace. So it's really very powerful that this is also the day that we've chosen to work with our gateways of grace, to initiate our gateways of grace process that Bonnie and I will be working with this evening. But now, in addition to this, the other components of this particular gap day, so we have allies and we have information that the Maya have provided us with in respect of the energies that we are working with. The hidden power within today is what is known as storm. And storm is about the transforming and allowing of self-generation or regeneration. So it's the chaos that exists in the unconscious that needs to be brought up into conscious light, and that's our hidden power. That's where our power lies, in the transformation of that which arises from the unconscious, from our roots, from that, all of that which is hidden. Our guide power is also the white wind. This is one of the double manifestations of the white wind today. The challenge is in our humanness and in the ability to choose wisely. So that's in our ability to make decisions in the external world wisely and in accordance with our highest, deepest, strongest alignment with our essence, core essence self. And the helper for today, and this is interesting bearing in mind the theme of trees, is about being grounded and open to synchronicity. So we have support from the earth. So it's really important that we anchor and support our grounding through the earth element as part and parcel of this process. So again, we have this balance between spirit, our higher self, the soul star, and the helper, which is the earth, and the importance of maintaining that core column, our oneness, our one self within that framework. Does that make sense for you guys? You can start seeing how this is aligned with the 11/11 day. You know, to me, it's just a really powerful understanding. Are you guys still with me? Yep. Okay. All good and clear. Okay, fab. So what we have now, let's have a look at the influence of the new moon in Scorpio today. And Sarah Varkas actually says to us, and this is also really powerful because it aligns with what we've just looked at, that the new moon in Scorpio is the making of spiritual warriors. So that's what it is our higher self, our sense of purpose, grounded into action in the world. That is the spiritual warrior. In order to realize that, we need to clear out everything that prevents us from acting or transforming and bringing that into being in the physical realm. So her words are, she says, this is a challenging moon. And hence many of the healing crises that a lot of people are actually experiencing at the moment. But it's not one to fear, for its challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate our deep commitment to awakening and our resolve to journey ever deeper into the most sacred self. To know the self. She says, this journey may not be inviting and not full of sparkles and light as we might generally know it, because it means descending into those deeper layers in order to bring into the light. To know the self, we must know the self, the small self, the personality self, the ego self, the tiny, limited, fearful self, which tells us we must be acceptable or good, nice and kind, or tough enough to beat the bastards at their own game. The self that's born of a need to be admired or revered, protected or hidden from the penetrating gaze of the outside world. And that I found interesting because there was a component of that exact meaning in the dream that I had last night as well. This tiny self needs all of the love, understanding, and compassion we can muster to allow it to reveal itself. Its many dark corners and sharp edges, contradictions, manipulations, and fears. This new moon allows for that compassion, so it allows us to bring down the essence, the breath, the energy of our highest self, and it potentizes the power of self-acceptance, which enables us to, listen to this word, burn. I was talking about fire. Burn through the defensive twists and turns of our psyche to reach our sacred core with uncompromising directness. And that directness is the power of an arrow that knows where it's going. It's that clear direction of one. Okay. So we have the exact same qualities being provided to us and intensifying the overall potential that we have at the moment in this 11/11 gap day, delivered by the new moon in Scorpio in its synchronistic alignment with the day 2. So here is something else at a hugely symbolic level that I actually wanted to share with you, because we're talking about healing the tree of life in many different dimensions and aspects and facets, and really this is the journey. And this is the Hermetic tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life as it is generally known. And this is the structure that we are generally all familiar with, that we see all over the place in many, many esoteric teachings. The form of the tree of life with the emanations, also known as the Sephirot, but these are divine emanations. And this is how it is often seen overlaying the physical body and aligned with. See how they aligned this particular center here with the heart. Okay, this very center of the tree of life. But this alignment to me has never ever felt correct. Now this is again, this is really deep understanding that I'm sharing with you at the moment, and I'd like you to sit with it and also be aware of what feels right for you, because part of what we are doing is we are healing this that we have been taught is the representation of the tree of life, when in fact what we have, and I want to share this with you, the interpretation which gave rise to that structure for the tree of life came from a sacred document known as the Sefer Yetzirah. So it was translated in that form. And one of the scholars of this is a Kabbalistic astrologer by the name of Patrick Mulcahy, who contacted me a number of years ago, and he presented me with a different interpretation of it. He said he looked at this, he studied it, and he said the only way that the descriptions and the understanding within this sacred document could make sense is if the form of the tree of life with the holy temple, this is the holy temple, in the center takes on the form of an octahedron. And this is how he has represented it with the emanations from the divine, and this is the verse that really supports the ultimate structure and form of this. Up and down, east and west, north and south, and the holy temple precisely in the center, and it supports them all. The only way that it can support them all equally is if that center temple is the center of an octahedron, because then it holds everything in balance. So the tree of life is actually an octahedron with the divine emanations that pour forth from above into the core column of the diamond. And this bit that you see here is your flattened three-dimensional, or your flattened octahedron, which when expanded out gives you this. And these are your divine emanations. And it really changes everything that we understand about some of the sacred teachings that are actually out there. And this to me is really, really powerful, because this is part and parcel of healing the tree of life. So we take it into the metaphysical, we take it into the multidimensional, we take it into the karmic, we take it into the ancestral. We take this process that we are doing into many, many different levels. And this gives us a whole new perspective. And I know that just about everybody that I know works with the tree of life in its original format. And this to me, when I read that verse and I read what he had done, these are the top three colors. These are the divine emanations, the original breath of God that's divided into the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that then feeds in a balanced way through the core column of the diamond, where it is then held in perfect balance. So one has to almost expand this to look at it in 3 dimensions to be able to understand there are the top 3 colors. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. No, they're not represented here in the octahedron, because our soul star energy center, that which sits at the top of the diamond, is actually the conduit for receiving the breath, the divine, the original initial divine emanations, if you like. So they're not part of the form, because they are almost the intangible emanations of the divine that we embrace through our octahedral form, our structural form within our energy fields. So we breathe them in. That's the breath of spirit that actually comes down through our soul star. So it's a really interesting understanding. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. This is also from the tree of Yachira, but this is sort of the fundamental primary holding of the emanations that we work with as physical beings within the diamond shape. So this we have, it's the final slide, and then we'll get into the process. I love this. I love this image because not only does it take on an octahedral form, it's one of the Celtic trees of life. As it's actually represented. And you'll see this intertwining of the upper branches and the spirit with the lower branches and the roots, everything held in balance. And I love the fact that this Triskalia, I think it's called, this 3-spiral form is actually held within that central core column. So let's not forget that the tree of life holds the various trinities, representations of the Trinity within its core and in perfect, beautiful balance. So I just love that symbolic manifestation representation of the ancient druidic pagan understanding of the tree of life. So it fits in with our understanding of the tree of life and trees as representations of the diamond. And here, the trunk of the tree is actually that central core column that we find within our own diamond. So our core column is the trunk of the tree. And as we grow, as we expand in consciousness, that trunk widens, those rings expand, our core column becomes ever more expansive and bigger. So that's how we can actually compare ourselves to the tree. And let's not forget that trees on our planet are actually the transformers of consciousness. They take energy from the sun through their leaves. So they breathe in the consciousness of the sun. They transform that together with the nutrients that they draw up from the roots, from the earth. They transform it into a living manifestation, into the form that we honor and we see. And that is exactly what we do as well in respect of our spiritual journey. So we have this, to me, there's a really, really powerful alignment with the tree kingdom through this work and through our alignment with the octahedron. So to me, trees always represent, sort of they embody the essence of understanding the diamond in a really powerful way. So trees are the transformations of consciousness, as are we. And we want to bring that consciousness, draw from the nutrients within our unconscious, within our roots, within the collective unconscious, and utilize those nutrients to be able to transform, to expand, to grow, and to strengthen, to become those spiritual warriors that Sarah Varkas is actually talking about. And that's also really the essence of the process today. The light code that we are working with, I think we worked with this one quite some time ago in a previous process that we did, but this is called the Knowledge Gateway. As you can see, it is the 11, it's the held within form. This represents the DNA strand that is the embodiment of all of the wisdom, the collective wisdom, our personal wisdom, our ancestral wisdom, and that we stand within the core of our essence. We are able to unlock the wisdom, the knowledge, the love, the deepest understanding within our own DNA through being held within the core column of our being. We are our own knowledge gateway into the infinite realms and other dimensions of all that is. So I know this is really, it's very deep, it's very profound, and for me, what I always like to share with you before we do any work, it really feels important to me that there is a context, that there is an understanding, that there is a meaning and a purpose for why we do the things that we do. It's not just a journey or a process that you can close your eyes and actually follow. There is a real depth and expansion of energy that is realized as a consequence of this because of the way that these elements we work with are represented throughout the very fabric of life. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I know that that may have been a little bit long. You know, we look at things like the destruction of our forests. And the destruction of our forests is, in a sense, representative of the mass of humanity and the destruction of consciousness, the distortion of consciousness. But at the same time, all of those nutrients are going back into the soil so that we have an exceptionally rich, unconscious um, realm from which to draw the nutrients from so that we can restore this fabric. So does anybody have any comments before we get into the process? I know that that's been about half an hour. Well, I just have some water. I see Marina's actually typing there. Let's not forget too that with the trees, there's been a lot of exposure through Facebook this week in representing, insofar as documentaries that now scientifically prove that the trees are a living internet through the fungal network that connects them all, that they communicate with each other through their roots, and through this mycelial fabric that enables them to communicate with each other. So through our own roots, through our diamonds, we establish that living network, that invisible fabric, and that network that connects us all. So we become the human internet. So I see Rashida's typing. Marina says, I lit a fire before we began. I've just burnt a hand-drawn version of the old tree of life to heal my tree of life personally. Wow, Marina, that's powerful. Thank you. Wonderful. Morag says, divine timing just in time for the process. Yay! Fantastic. You are too, Morag. Welcome. So who else have we got? There's got just a few more comments here before we're about to move into the process. I know, Morag, you can pick up on the information later, and I know that it will also make sense to you. Some of it you may have seen before. Rashida said, I have a very strong connection with trees. I have been communicating with them for a while. Yes, absolutely. Ali saying hi to, sneaked in for the last 15 minutes. Okay, that's fab. Loving the info. Fantastic. So obviously, you know, as you all know, you get a permanent link to the recording. So you can go through this information again. You can connect with it and allow it to resonate deep within the fabric of your being. So that you can connect with what is true and right for you. And as with always, what resonates with you, you accept, you work with the truth of it. What doesn't, you can leave. So we know that that is the way, because it's really important that you stand in your own truth in respect of this. So we're working across multiple levels for the process today, although we will be working with the medium of the trees as we know them and identify with them. So I just want to ask you, I'm just going to work with the bowl and ask you to make yourselves comfortable as you close your eyes. And allow yourself to simply begin breathing. And allow your breath, as you draw it in, to bring you into resonance. Allow the frequencies of the diamond bowl to permeate the cells in your body, to flow on the in-breath of your spirit into the cells of your being, that each minute atom, molecule, cell within your body begins to resonate and expand with the frequencies of the diamond as you slowly come into resonance. And your breathing deepens into a natural flow and rhythm in and out that is perfect for you. And visualize yourself within your octahedral diamond, extending out in 3 dimensions, up and down, left and right, front and back, equally equidistant, so that you stand within the 111 gateway, anchored within the core column of your diamond. And if you can imagine those spheres, those emanations of the divine at the end of each of the axes of your diamond, just take note as you rest into this space of where one may feel or seem larger or smaller than the other. The front represents your future, the back represents all that you bring forward from your past. The left represents your inner feminine essence, your divine self, your inner guidance. The right represents the external emanation to physical manifestation. Below, you connect with the fabric and the support of Mother Earth herself, and above, with your soul star and the inflow of the breath of spirit. Just allow your consciousness to move around within your diamond space, and notice if there is any weakness in any particular direction in respect of the balancing axes. And breathe. And as you breathe in through your soul star center, breathe in the divine emanations from the universe through the sun into your soul star. As they blend to become the divine animation of your soul essence itself, your individual expression of the divine. Breathe it in through your soul star. And allow that energy to flow into whichever axis requires additional support and assistance to restore initial balance, for that energy is going to bring to light through the process what requires healing. But for now, just let it flow through the axes to hold your diamond and you in perfect balance. And in that space, you feel your heart center beginning to expand. For as you breathe in through your entire octahedron, the energy accumulates in the area of your heart and is emanated from that place throughout your being. And as your heart center expands, Your core column widens, the trunk of your tree, your diamond tree widens and strengthens, holding you. And in this space, the beginning of the process, breathe in the diamond light code that we know as Knowledge Gateway, so that it aligns perfectly with your core column, with that ethereal DNA strand that is the mirror of your entire being, that holds the wisdom and the knowledge of your existence through time, and that strand weaves its way down and through your core column, and you hold it. And in your mind now, you find yourself taking a stroll through a beautiful, enormous forest. This forest is created and made up of all types of trees. And as you take a gentle stroll, you feel the emanations from the trees themselves. You become aware of the conversations taking place beyond the level of normal hearing within this forest. As you walk upon the moss-covered ground, you feel the roots of the trees rippling through the soil, and the fine, fibrous network of mycelia connecting all of these trees. You are, in effect, within this forest, in the midst of one beautiful, enormous organism manifestation of life in all different forms. So there are tall trees and short trees and broad trees, narrow trees, trees with dense foliage, some with flowers, trees that have very little leaves, or very few. Spend a while in this forest, in this space that is both quiet and yet incredibly busy. As you become aware of these trees absorbing the frequencies of sunlight through their leaves, bringing that down into the structure of the tree itself, the information and consciousness transmitted down into the earth, telling the earth and sending messages through the roots in respect of whatever nutrients the tree needs to convert this consciousness, this information, into growth and expansion to continue its life. All around you are the frequencies, vibrations, auras, and emanations from these amazing beings. And as you continue your journey through the forest, you find that you are drawn to a single tree, one that beckons you, that has a strength of emanation that is meant just for you, or that speaks to you directly, deep into the core of your being. Allow yourself to move towards this tree, and you place your hands upon its bark and your forehead against the tree as you connect and listen. Open your senses and your third eye to share the core essence that runs through both of you. For as the tree communicates with you, you communicate with the tree. And the trees hold the information of the very history of life itself within their fabric. Allow your tree to share with you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the information that it holds. Allow your body to feel and your inner self to know what is being shared with you. And now call forth from within the forest a sacred white power animal to accompany you on the rest of your journey. And emerging from somewhere within the forest, your white power animal approaches you. The sacred white animals are the power animals of the soul. They are the guardians and the supporters of our soul journey, of our core essence, of our ability to express the divine through our beingness in this life, through our body. And together with your sacred white animal, you begin a consciousness merge with your particular tree. As your physical body dissolves, drops the barriers, and bit by bit your hands become a part of the fabric of the tree. and then your arms, and your forehead, and your third eye lights up so that you see into the internal mechanisms within the tree, into the consciousness stream that your tree has been holding. And together with your white animal, you step fully into your tree. Allow yourself to simply rest into and be aware of this space, of all that is flowing through you from the roots and from the sun. Feel the strength, the eternal agelessness, the connectivity, the ease, and the joy with which the tree transforms information from the universe through the sun into life itself. And allow your tree to show you how you can do that within the very depths of your physical beingness. Hold the space. And the consciousness of your soul star merges with the leaves and the branches at the top of the tree, expanding and opening to receive the emanations that we are being given at the moment from the sun. Be aware of this expansiveness as your core column expands to accommodate the inflow of golden sunlight and the codes that travel upon the frequencies and the rays of the sun. Codes that are intended to open up and unlock your own knowledge gateways within your core. Breathe that light and the knowledge and the wisdom in through your leaves, down into your trunk. And then take that consciousness down into the roots of the tree, deep into your unconscious, into the depths of the soil that nourishes and nurtures your physical beingness. And allow your consciousness to travel along and through the roots, finding the resources and the nutrients that you need in order to transform and to provide the sustenance for the flowers and the fruits of your tree to be brought into beingness, to fuel the growth. Now those roots can lead you into multidimensional energetic domains and spaces. They may lead you into ancestral lineages. They may lead you into the Akasha. They may lead you into the depths of your own soul and beingness. Allow your power animal, your sacred white power animal to support you and guide you, shining a light on this journey, so that you, like a warrior, seek out that which requires healing in order to transform into fuel and fodder for growth. And you travel through the unseen worlds, and dimensions. Seek out the nutrients to bring back into the roots of your tree, your beingness. And all the while your core column is held in the brilliant space of wisdom and knowledge, and you are held in perfect trust within the fabric of this tree. Your journey and your passage is safe and protected. One by one, you seek out and you bring back the nourishment, the patterns that may require healing. They may be viruses existing within the roots of your tree, or parasites that don't belong there. You can bring them into the healing environment within the core of your tree for transformation, restoring health and vibrancy, strength to your roots. What do these parasites represent in your life? Are they people? Are they relationships? Are they conflicts? Are they circumstances? Are they behaviors? What are you being shown that will translate and transform into nutrients and nourishment for your growth, for your healing? And all you need to do is to give a silent yes to the following question. Is all that exists within this invisible network that limits you or stands in the way of you experiencing your magnificent self? Will you destroy and uncreate it in order to make space for new resources? And on your yes, you simply watch the transformation, the uncreation of those limitations, almost turned inside out to reveal to you the nuggets, the nutrients that they have been containing all along. You uncreate and you recreate. For every point of destruction is a point of creation. And if there is any illness or dis-ease or imbalance within your physical body, seek out within your roots that which requires transformation in order to restore wellness and health to your physical fabric, your physical beingness. And where is it that that influence has been supporting the manifestation of illness or ailment or dis-ease? Does it exist within the roots and the dimensions of ancestral inheritance? Does it exist in another dimension completely? Where in the roots? Is it in learned or conditioned behaviors, understandings and beliefs? And as you seek out that which limits your physical health and wellness, you again answer yes to the question, all that limits or holds me back from experiencing full health and wellness within my being, I am prepared to destroy and uncreate with a resounding yes. So you don't only destroy, you create something within its place that supports your physical health and wellness. And with all of these changes that are taking place within the root system of this tree, you become aware through your consciousness of the change in communication through the invisible network of roots within this entire forest. For each one of you with your chosen tree is changing the frequency of the forest itself and the emanations. And you see lights and light fibers connecting all of the roots, communicating with a different frequency, communicating with love for each other, for each tree within the forest has its place. And if one doesn't receive sunlight, there is no blame on the tallest tree, because that is capturing the sunlight. For in the land and the world of trees, each tree also supports those beneath its canopy by providing nutrients to enable the smaller ones to be nourished and to grow with the beauty of amazing symbiotic relationships. And there is not only a beautiful reconnection existing between the trees in the forest, where each is supporting the other with joy and pure, unconditional essence and energy and transformation and consciousness. There is also a menagerie of the most amazing sacred white animals dwelling now within this forest. Soul guardians that you now have access to, that can be shared and that are freely shared between one and the other. And through your roots you reach out and you connect with the consciousness of the other trees within the forest. And you become aware of the wisdom that they hold, that each one is a unique frequency, range and manifestation of consciousness, and there is yet more wisdom to be known through this process. Allow yourself to explore now the entire forest. with all of the sacred white guardian animals that live within it. As you share, interact, exchange. You may notice that some trees in the forest still have perhaps a diminished root system, insufficient nutrients. What can you offer those trees in order to support their growth? How can you, each one of you within this forest, contribute towards the overall health, well-being, and performance of this forest? Allow your personal contributions to be made known to you. And as you give and make your own unique contributions wherever there is still a dark area within the forest, become aware of a flow of frequency that is consistent throughout this entire landscape, that moves freely and unimpeded as the healing takes place within each and every tree, within each and every individuated stream of consciousness. And as you touch each one of these streams, you find that your consciousness begins to merge with all of the others, becoming an amazing, powerful resource. And all of the trees within the forest, because they are all now flowing with the same essence and energy that underpins everything, begin to merge. The boundaries become less clear. Your diamond and the boundaries with your diamond become less defined. And the trees merge into one enormous single world tree that is alight and alive and amplified with the power of every single one of the individuals within the forest. And the upper branches sparkle with life as the leaves on this enormous world tree open. Growth is experienced as all of the nutrients that have been transformed within the roots and the global root system merge into one powerful, powerful, nutritious source and anchoring. And there is a flow, an unimpeded stream of light from the top of the trees, of this tree, an unimpeded stream of golden consciousness being brought down into this merged core from source, from the sun, and you have access to all that is as it is embodied by the world tree. And this triggers deeper, stronger alignments within your personal individuated self. Strength and balance. You no longer feel alone, for you are in the company of every other elevated individual, diamond and tree or aspect of consciousness within this global tree of life. And allow that consciousness and the love of divine source to be breathed in through your tree, down through the roots, into and through the fabric of the entire planet. And around. Recycling. And this planetary tree of life begins to bud with new flowers, stimulated into new growth through the contributions that you have made. And with each opening of a new flower, it is an invitation to humanity itself. It is a recognition of the love at the heart of all of life. Breathe in now and begin to withdraw your consciousness from this collective tree back into your own space. Come back through your own personal tree within the forest, within the network. And back into your diamond as you withdraw your consciousness from the tree. Breathe in and out. And within your diamond, take a look around at the structure and form, at the emanations through your physical beingness, at the strength of your earth star and your soul star energy centers. At the budding flashes of lights within your soul star. Notice how much broader and stronger your core column is, how much more light it is holding, how much more wisdom is being embodied through your beingness, through your body, through the cells and the fabric of your physical form. Allow that light to now travel into areas of your body that may still require healing, for the wisdom through the knowledge gateway in your core column is released and is able to transmit new nourishment and nutrients and information into any area of your diamond and your body requiring rebalance. Send it out. And imagine yourself now with arms outstretched, with palms held up towards the sun, permanently receiving and being in gratitude for the support, for the frequencies, the codes, and the elevated consciousness being delivered by this amazing being within our solar system. And you turn your hands down, and you offer that down to the earth star, to the earth, into your roots, holding them deeply and firmly, connected to the planet, to the fabric, to the pulse of earth and life. And as you breathe in and out, that flow is even in all directions, up and down and front and back, right and left, in and out, perfectly poised, balanced, aligned, and loved in all ways. Every facet of your being is embraced with the love of the divine, flowing into and through your diamond, freely and with grace. And take a deep breath in as you extend your gratitude to the white power animal that supported you on the journey, and for one final moment in time, you allow yourself to be open to receiving any personal information from the white animal that presented and shared the experience with you. And your animal may choose to stay with you or choose to wander off back into the forest. As you take a deep breath in and begin to allow your consciousness to be restored to third dimensional awareness. Breathe in and out. And allow the cells in your body to reorganize themselves into their perfect, healthful, rightful alignments. And hold your knowledge gateways open as you return. And open your eyes. How are you doing? Are you back? Okay, Marina's back. Morag, small boy woke. I woke up and walked in the room I was in, stopped dead still, and said, "Wow." Then pointed, "Diamond, diamond, diamond." Oh, Morag, that's so wonderful. Thank you. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? That's Morag's little boy. Thank you. How wonderful. Thank you. How are you feeling? Spacey. Well, we spend so much time in the roots that I'm surprised. But then again, when we transform, we lighten and bring light into those parts of ourselves. So we actually experience expansion. So even though we were actually in the roots seeking out what needed to be transformed, the overall effect is actually one of expansion. Morag's also lightheaded and dizzy. Well, that's interesting because that is then an indication that there was, even if it's below the level of our conscious mind, some really interesting um, transformation going on. Andrea says, aching all over. Oh, that's interesting. Must be all that action. Yeah, lots going on in there. I was aware of vibrations shifting and changing as we were actually going through that process. We got a few more typing. Um, so Marina says, feel great. I nearly missed my mouth with my drink of water, so checked I was fully back and aligned. Oh, Rashida, that's lovely. Thank you. Rashida says, wow, this was one of the most powerful meditations we have done by far. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful and so glad I could connect with you all today. I'm not quite sure, Claire says, I'm not quite sure where I went, but somewhere deep with my white animal. A white heart! Ali, you love Harry. You'll love that one. Wow. That's a white stag for anybody that doesn't know, that is actually known as a white hart. Amazing. Amazing. So did you have some interesting and unusual white animals that presented to support you? Saw my power animal when I came into the forest. Oh, that's lovely, before I even mentioned it. It was like the mother tree in the film. Yes, I saw a white stag too. Oh, how lovely. Now, I tell you what I love about that, the white stag, because really what the tree of life is about, our personal tree of life, is about us being in our sovereignty, being in our sovereign divine space while being interconnected with everything else. So, and yes, that mother tree feeds it all. That's why I know I kept seeing the tree all lit up, and I didn't know how to describe it. I couldn't find the words for it, by the way. But the white stag that a couple of you've seen, um, white dove who lives in the tree. The white stag is also symbolic of sovereignty, of that sovereign state. So very, very interesting that a couple of you actually saw the white stag during the process. Penny says she has a white leopard, horse, wolf, bear, and eagle. Wow, no wonder you aching. They were really busy, Andrea, because those would all be bringing in like loads of different aspects of soul essence and awakening and transforming back in the core. That's really powerful. So some were gentle, some were intense. It's always whatever we personally need it to be. You know, and I think that's the gift of me allowing and trusting the process. It's like get out of my own way in respect of allowing it to flow whichever way it needs to flow, um, and to be what it needs to be. So I want to just, we've still got some comments. I'm quite happy to stay here for a while longer, but I want to officially say just thank you so much. It's been an hour and a half. again, which is just amazing. An hour and a half, and I want to thank you all so, so much for being here formally. I will end the recording so I can get it out for others that they can at least still catch up during this day to day and in this really powerful window of time. And then you guys can also use it again. So thank you, thank you. I love you all, and thank you so much for being part of the process. We can stay on the line, it's okay.